Hey, welcome to Select Arcane! It's that time again. It's my favorite time of year for model horses, and that's NaMoPaiMo. This is going to be my 7th year in a row participating. Just as a recap, NaMoPaiMo is a personal challenge in the month of February. Paint a model horse from start to finish. You have 28 days to finish. It doesn't matter what size or what color, so long as you finish in the month of February. The goal is to challenge yourself and learn something new. There's no judgment, only learning opportunities. If you're curious, check out my last year's video. I've challenged myself every single year, and this year will be no different. NaMoPaiMo is a massive undertaking on the execution side. There have been years where over 1,000 people have participated. Usually there's an official sign-up sheet, and prizes get handed out to a select few. However, this year will be different, and the rules have changed, but the fun still stays the same. There'll be no registration and no prizes. And this year will be known as International Painting Party 2023. In 2017, I painted tomato soup in oils and acrylics, and that was the first time I've ever customized a model horse. In 2018, I painted knickers, fully in oils, and my first pewter micro. In 2019, I painted a portrait of Taiga, the first time I've ever used pigments. In 2020, I painted takoyaki in mixed media as my first ever Appaloosa. In 2021, I painted Stormvic, also in mixed media, but actually a curio scale. And in 2022, I painted Fuji, and that was the first time I used grasses and made a 3D base. So, what's in store for this year, you might ask? Well, admittedly, this isn't going to be such a personal project as it was last year. I won't be doing a portrait model, but I will be challenging myself artistically. I received this box in the mail all the way from Germany. I ordered this model in November, and the seller actually had one left in stock. And after nearly getting lost in the mail and fighting my local post office to get her out, here we are. Quick, the suspense is killing me. I'm dying to unbox this model. International sellers, take note. This is how you pack a model to go overseas. Double boxed, peanuts, bubble wrap, airbags, toilet paper, a pony pouch, the works. And bonus points for this pouch being in the exact theme of this pony. This is Pumpkin. Sculpted by Ilona Himmelman, she is only one of 30 made. And to top it off, she's only a 1 mold run. So I was really excited to get my hands on her. I think Yapta approves of my new purchase. For comparison's sake, take a look at Pumpkin next to Morgan Kilburn's Kipling resin. They are a match made in heaven, and I am so excited. And I know what you're thinking. How does she look on the trailer? She looks perfect. That's how she looks. Perfect size, fits great, and I'm so excited to use her in performance. If you're already a NaMoPaiMo veteran, you would know we start prepping in January, even though the event technically starts February 1st. That gives you a nice head start and a blank canvas for your paintwork. Trust me, it's hard enough finishing a model in February by just painting it, never mind prepping. If you want to see the full prepping process of how I would actually prep a resin, please check out my previous video, prepping a messy resin. If I repeated all of the instructions and showed everything again, I think this video would go on forever, and nobody has time for that. But in short, I poked all of the air bubbles, sanded her, washed her, filled her with epoxy and Bondo, washed her a few more times, sanded a few more times, and then finally... Well, hold on. Before I say primer, there's something that's been really bothering me since I started prepping this little pony. It's her front leg. It doesn't sit right, and it probably happened in shipping when she was packed up. This causes her to be really tippy, and I really worry about her on the shelf, so I've been only laying her down. But don't worry, this is a really quick and simple fix, and I'm going to do it in complete real time to show you how easy it is. First, you boil some water. Transfer that water into a manageable bowl or container. In this case, I can't dump the whole pony into the boiling pot because her leg is parallel to the other legs. I only want to boil this one specific area. Dip the affected area into the boiling water for, well, maybe 30 seconds, as such. and then I remove her and run her over to my desk. I know this is not great filmmaking, but I'm doing this just to show you how quick and easy this is. She's warm to the touch but not unmanageable, and I use my fingers just to gently push her leg in the direction I need. And it sets instantly. Once the resin cools down, you're set until you need to boil it again to move it again. And look! She's virtually fixed! This one back leg is bothering me as well, so I'm going to repeat the step. And look, she's virtually tilt-proof. Not bad for a girl who's balancing on 3 legs. Now it's finally time to prime. I'm using gray duplicolor sandable primer, which is great for my temperamental Canadian weather. Here I'm applying the first coat out the door, and if it isn't obvious enough, I haven't set up a new spray station either. The goal is just to get a nice even coat over her body, and it's still patchy, so I'm going to have to go over it with another pass. Major shoutouts to Suki, who was my camera operator for the priming part of it. Thanks, Suki. Ah, there we go. Now we can move on to the painting stage, and you can see that I'm wearing these new cotton gloves. I'm going to try them out, and hopefully I won't take off any primer while I'm holding the model while painting. I have a confession. I am not comfortable painting traditional scale horses. The first one I ever painted was Tomato Soup, the second I painted was Thunder Bay, and the third I painted was Aqaba. That's 3 in total in my entire painting career. But it's NaMoPaiMo, so we're going to give it a shot. I'm going to be doing the base coat in oils, and before I start painting, let me show you something. These are the references I'm going to be using, and I've broken them out into a color palette. This is my first time that I'll be painting a silver dapple. The palette that I broke out helps me isolate the certain colors that I will need. I'll be painting the base coat in oils, and I mix up white, burnt umber, and a bit of linseed oil. Taking a soft brush, I coat the entire model in a light coat of paint. I don't think I'll ever get used to these awkward angles and how heavy these traditional models are to hold while painting. I don't know how other artists do it, honestly. After I've coated the model to the best of my abilities, I take a large fluffy brush, also known as a mop brush, and I wipe over the entire model in dabbing motions. This takes off any extra oils and extra paint so that the model will dry faster, and it also eliminates brush strokes in the first layer. And these cotton gloves are doing a good job not taking off any primer, but they are doing a good job leaving lint everywhere. Ugh. I put pumpkin in my drying rack, and I'll have to wait a few days until I can do layer 2. Making impressive headway, I duplicated the exact same steps as layer 1. Same formula, same everything. I just want to build up the coverage of the base layer to fill in any spots I missed the first time around. Again, she went back into my drying rack, and suddenly adulting caught up. I was shipped halfway across the country for work, and when I got back, this little one was born. So between work and Cadence, the brand new foal, my time has been really divided. But to be very honest, all of these distractions were very well welcomed. I felt incredibly intimidated going forward with my pumpkin resin. You see, not only am I not familiar with really painting traditional resins, this color is brand new to me, so to me, that was extremely intimidating, and I just kind of had this block. So I worked on other projects, I posted other videos, and here we are for layer 3. I finally mustered enough courage to start again. And yeah, at this point I resigned myself to the fact that there was no way I was going to finish Pumpkin in time for NaMoPaiMo. But you know what? That's okay. This was supposed to be a non-stressful, you-do-you kind of year. I was busy, I had work, I had cadence, and that's okay too. I specifically went with a traditional model because I know next year I'm going to be too busy with school, and I decided to push myself further. But I also know that I'm a slow painter, and again, that's okay. Being away from painting so long gave me a new perspective of what I was missing with Pumpkin. She just wasn't the right base color and it was really bothering me. I just didn't know it at the time. So I went with white, burnt umber, and violet. I needed to give her a little bit of a purple sheen because that's what I was seeing in my swatches. However, the base color for her legs and face were already perfect, so I kept that. That's how I started blocking in the different colors of her body and started doing her dark shading. Adulting got in the way again, but that's okay. I'm well past the window for NaMoPaiMo, but this time I have the aim to finish the pumpkin before my next show in May. Her base color was feeling pretty good, so I started on with the dark shading. I used burnt umber, white, violet, and black. Mixing it with linseed oil, it creates a nice creamy texture. I'm using it for both the darker areas, the areas that kind of dip in like in the haunches, but also her top line. Top lines are usually darker than the rest of the horse's color. I waffled a bit about the color actually. For the most part it felt too brown as soon as I applied it, but it looked great in the palette. And then when I tried to correct it with more dark colors, it started getting really streaky because I was adding too much paint. But the absolute kicker was when I looked really closely at the paint. The camera doesn't pick it up, but she's absolutely covered in lint. I tried to pick off as much as possible, but it's a few layers deep. Either this lint is originally from the cotton gloves that I tried, the first layer, or it's from my drying rack, where she was sitting and the paint was trying to dry. There's so much of it, and really there's only one solution: sandpaper. I really hesitated with posting this video. I mean, what do you really get out of it as a viewer? It's not a good tutorial, I wasn't successful in my mission to finish Pumpkin, and was it entertaining? I guess. But I think the biggest takeaway is that mistakes do happen. Things happen. Life gets in the way, lint gets in your paint, but it's okay. I am going to come back to Pumpkin, I am going to finish her, and I am going to try to finish her before the May show. If you're interested in a part 2, please like and subscribe. You can find me on Instagram @SelectArcane and on Facebook by the same name. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in part 2.